Welcome to Social Security News for October 2023. The biggest news I have this month is overpayment. The Social Security Administration is getting very aggressive in collecting overpayments to Social Security beneficiaries that got more than they were supposed to be paid. So pay attention and stay till the middle of this video when I explain what this is all about and if you may be affected, because they are stopping Social Security benefit payments to people who have accumulated large overpayments, and they're trying to collect all that back. So stay tuned. But the first thing I want to talk about today is when the cost of living adjustment announcement is going to be made. But before I get into that, if you're new to this channel, I want to urge you to subscribe to our channel. This entire Direct Express Help channel is dedicated to providing you up-to-date information on Social Security, disability, and including SSI and SSDI. When things are happening in and out of Congress that is going to affect your benefits, we want to be the first to let you know. So hit that subscribe button. So the first update for October is that the Social Security Administration has announced the date when the cost of living adjustment is going to be released. And that is going to be on October 12th. As you know, every year, the Social Security Administration releases the annual cost of living adjustment, which shows changes in the cost of living. So how is COLA calculated? Well, what they do is that they look at prices of goods and services from the third quarter of the previous year, compare it to the third quarter of this year, and then if prices have gone up, then they will adjust your Social Security or disability benefits accordingly. So what does it mean? Well, the Social Security Administration gets the data from the Department of Labor, which looks at what they call the Consumer Price Index for urban wage and clerical workers, which is called CPIW. And that CPIW tracks a list of goods and services that affects ordinary people. And so they will compare those prices of those goods and services from the previous year's third quarter, which is July, August, September. And then they'll compare it to this year's third quarter, which just ended in September. And then if prices have gone up, then they will adjust it accordingly. Well, last year, the cost of living adjustment was 8.7%, which was a 40-year high. But this year, according to estimates by a reliable source, the Senior Citizens League, which is an organization that works on behalf, in interest of seniors, that works on issues that affect seniors, they are reputed and reputable for coming up with about what the COLA is going to be each year. So a lot of news organizations look up to the Senior Citizens League to give them direction of what they think the COLA is going to be based on their research and data. And they have predicted that COLA is going to be around 3.2%. So when the Social Security Administration announces COLA on October 12th, we're going to see how close that is, but that is what is expected to be. So now there is debate as to whether that's enough, given that a lot of things, prices of goods and services, medicine, medical care, transportation, everything has gone up and stayed up. Housing is 3.2% or whatever it's going to be. Is that enough to really keep up with the true inflation that is happening? Well, that is up for debate. But according to the Senior Citizens League, on October 12th, the Social Security Administration is going to announce a COLA that is around 3.2% for 2024. And that announcement, that figure, that number is going to go into effect in your January Social Security and disability checks. So that is the first update I want to give you. Now, according to Forbes is agreeing with what the Senior Citizens League is saying, that the COLA is not going to come close to what you've seen in 2023. And the reason, of course, is that inflation is trending down. So given the 3% amount, 3.2% that you're likely going to get, that will move the Social Security average benefit from $1,705 to $1,756. So it's an increase of about $51, which is not a lot of money. So that is what you can expect from COLA. The next thing is that the Social Security Administration is getting very aggressive in getting overpayments back. Now, overpayment happens when you're on Social Security benefits and there is some changes that you're supposed to report that you didn't report to adjust your income. And this specifically affects disability beneficiaries, but it also affects some Social Security beneficiaries. So if you are supposed to report, wages that you're earning, and you're not doing that, or you have more money, if you're on disability, you have more money in your bank account, or you've inherited some money, there's a lot of things that Social Security and disability beneficiary has to report to the Social Security Administration. And with those reports, the Social Security Administration makes adjustment. For whatever reason, some people are late to reporting that, or not report it, or don't know they have to report it. And so it results in overpayment. And that overpayment number has grown a lot. And the Social Security Administration is getting very aggressive in trying to get it back. And people in Congress, lawmakers, are getting angry because they think it's not fair. So I'm going to walk you through a few scenarios here where, provide you some numbers associated with this. So the Social Security Administration said in 2022 they made $4.7 billion in overpayments. That is a big, 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 big number. That's what they recovered of the 21.6 billion in overpayments that is still uncollected. So it is a big, big problem. And in 2022, they made $2 billion in overpayment. So now you can see that it's a growing problem. So how are they trying to fix it? Well, they are sending letters to people to try to get it back. And sometimes they will stop your benefit entirely because you owe so much. So what typically happens is that if you're on Social Security or disability, there are certain things that you have to report. So make sure that especially if you're on SSI, you are supposed to report if you have more than $2,000 in your bank account, if somebody is giving you shelter or food, all that affects is counted as income, and your Social Security benefits, SSI, is adjusted accordingly. So if you're not reporting these things to the Social Security Administration, then you may get a letter for overpayment, and that can be very unpleasant. And so in this report from the Kaiser Family Foundation Health News, they are talking about examples here where I'm going to read one of this. Renee Walker says her mother was disabled by COVID and dying of cancer when the Social Security Administration sent her a letter in August saying it will withhold 5 months of benefits, which is $1,214 per month, her entire income, plus an additional $309 to cover overpayment of $6,379. So you can see this is real. Another example here, Nicole Elberhardt, who has been legally blind since birth and receiving Social Security benefits since childhood, was told that the SSA overpaid her by $9,664. In August, her monthly benefit check didn't arrive. As a result, she and her family were evicted and they had to split up, she says. This is a person that is legally blind. Here's another example. Tammy Etchler received an overpayment notice from the Social Security Administration demanding that she repay $5,575 in retirement benefits. The agency stopped sending her Social Security checks and told her she wouldn't get them until June 2024. So that is why lawmakers are really angry about what's going on, and they are pushing back and are trying to push back on the Social Security Administration to stop this practice of trying to claw back overpayments. Now, whether this is going to work or not remains to be seen. So if you've been impacted by this, the more you make your lawmakers know, the better, because the Social Security Administration, issues about $1 trillion in payments annually, and some of it results in overpayment, and they want to collect that money back. So lawmakers are probably your best bet, to be able to get it, because there's about 20 billion in overpayments that are out there, and that's a big number. And so if you've been impacted, then contact your congressman if you feel it's unfair. Second, educate yourself about what requirements you have to make, what information you have to provide Social Security Administration to make sure that you are staying in top of all those information so that you can avoid getting a surprise like this in the mail. So those are the updates that I want to provide you about overpayment. And I will probably record a separate video to provide more in-depth information about why this happens, who is affected, and what you can do to avoid it. And then the last thing I want to talk about is average Social Security benefits by age. So if you look at this data right here, the Social Security Administration releases each year average Social Security benefits by age and by sex. So men and women, and by age from 66 all the way to 90. As you can see, men make more in Social Security benefits than women by every age category. And that is probably not a surprise, given that that is how the general population things have been. But it is interesting to see that reflected in Social Security benefits. And by US News and World Report, they're taking data from the Social Security Administration about average benefits. So if you want to get an idea of what other people are getting or what the average is by age, this is what it looks like for both men and women. So those are the Social Security updates I want to provide you in October. If there's new information, I'm going to record another update. It's probably going to be update version 1, version 2, depending on what's happening. But hopefully this kept you up to date. The biggest thing is that COLA is coming on October 12th. It will be effective January 1st. And second, Social Security is clawing back overpayments. Educate yourself. If you're impacted, the best way to push back is to contact your congressperson, because they are already on the case trying to push back from the Social Security Administration. So if you're new to this channel, please hit the subscribe button. Until next time, we'll see you in the next video.